So, Amisha,
Thank you, sir.
first striking thing I find in your CV, firstly, introduce yourself.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Amisha Yadav. I hail from a small town, Rewari, in Haryana. I have done my BSMS with majors in chemical sciences from Indian Institute of Science, Education and Research, ISER Mohali. Post that, I have done my B.Ed from IGU Mirpur, and that was completed in 2023. Post that, I have been doing volunteer teaching at a local NGO, and my hobbies include swimming and sketching.
You can join any formal job in education,
No, sir. Till now, I have not joined any formal education job.
not interested or you didn't get opportunity.
Sir, of course, I had opportunities, but I thought I'll give a full-fledged attempt for this year, and that's why I didn't join. And I was simultaneously already engaged in teaching at the local NGO, so I did not felt the need of joining.
But at 12th, you had the Hindi music vocal as your subject.
Yes, sir.
I don't find it in your hobby.
Yes, sir.
Why?
Sir, in our schools, there were only two optional subjects that were given to us. One was Hindi music vocal, and next was physical education. And everyone opted for the same, and so did I. So it was not a choice, but it happened coincidentally.
Good.
Okay.
That.
Can you quickly sketch, sir, for us? You have the.
Sir, I can try.
Meanwhile, talk.
It's okay. It will take time. Huh?
You won this. Continue drawing, and we can talk. No. Best poster presentation on topic treating diabetes
Yes, sir.
by tissue engineering.
Yes, sir.
Why this limit of diabetes keep on changing every year, every 10 years, you can say?
Sir, the target which we are targeting, the population that is prone to diabetes, that is getting infected every year, is increasing gradually. And the infrastructure that we have in place to treating this non-communicable disease is not up to mark. So that's why our goals kept on shifting.
No, I am talking about the parameter of a person being diabetic.
Yes, sir.
If earlier, say, morning sugar 140 was considered diabetic, now 120 is considered diabetic. Before that, 180 was considered diabetic. So why this trend is there?
So firstly, over the period of time, sedentary lifestyle have increased, and due to which the factors which are contributing to diabetes is not only just our blood sugar, but rather the lifestyle as a whole that we live. Apart from that, sir, in our population, insulin resistance genetically is higher, so we are more prone to diabetes. So as with time, more and more research is coming up. So we are showing more and more.
Are these Western standards of diabetes relevant for India as well, or do we need a separate?
Sir, we need to have a bit difference with respect to the international standards that are being followed. So primarily because of our genetic dispositions, the insulin resistance in Indian population is higher, and hence we have type 2 diabetes much more compared to the type 1 diabetes. Whereas in the West, type 1 diabetes can be found very frequently in the younger age, and that we do not found compared in proportion in the Indian population.
Please continue.
Yes, sir.
Misha, do you think women reservation is crucial for the development of women, say in parliament?
Sir, it is a nice step. The women that are presented in parliament is far below the international numbers that we have with our Western counterparts. Currently, there are only 74 women MPs out of the total 543. And hence, by doing such steps, we led a step forward towards women empowerment. And when women are empowered, then women-led development becomes easier, and as a whole, the nation grows.
Even if all the 543 were there, do you think that will empower women? Let me remind you, there was a time when the president was a woman,
Yes, sir.
the speaker was a woman,
Yes, sir.
the leader of the opposition was a woman,
Yes, sir.
and all the top posts were with the women, and they could do nothing that way.
Sir, but definitely they acted as an agent of change and inspired many more women to take up career not only in politics but even different spheres of life.
Now, what change they have brought in?
Sir, firstly, with respect to women education, the parents themselves are inspired by them and taking up education of their daughters. Sir, secondly, with respect to labor force participation rate of the women in formal economy. Sir, thirdly, would be with respect to political participation, not only in fighting up the elections but also increased voter turnout for women voters.
So that has improved a lot of women in the country.
Sir, definitely a change has occurred, but a lot more needs to be done.
But how is politics related with the status of women?
Sir, when women acts as leader, they inspire even other women to come forward and report their issues. And women themselves have, many of these women who are legislators themselves have first-hand experienced such conditions. And once they formulate the law, they give better input and feedback, which can be inculcated in the law, and hence more better law targeting the particular situation of the woman can be framed.
No, but how the way you have uh, decided then going to enforce this parliament in parliament, women reservation, how is going to benefit the women in the country in general?
Sir, I think when we are doing this, then firstly, we also have the issue of Pradhan Pati at the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act at the ground level. When we see that women at the national level are taking up the responsibility and coming forward as leaders, then we empower the women who are in the Sarpanch level to come forward and take up that same responsibility.
How the one-third reservation for women in the seats is going to benefit the women in general in the country? Do you think if it is Lalu, it is his wife who would be fighting, his daughter would be fighting? Anyway, that way, wives and daughter and son-in-law and daughter-in-law, everybody would be fighting. You will have as many candidates over there fighting for that. How it is going to benefit the masses of women? We know how much money is required to fight a Lok Sabha election.
Yes, sir.
So do you think they'll afford it?
Sir, definitely not all women can afford it, and only women who are economically empowered and who come from
Yeah,
such
those
family
who are
can.
corrupt right from their panchayat elections, and they'll become corrupt as men in the Lok Sabha. What is going to be the benefit to the democracy of the country?
So, firstly, there is a possibility that women may not be as corrupt as men. So, secondly, would be with respect to when they themselves are taking up the leadership roles, they will lead to holistic development, not only of the current generation but the upcoming generation. So, they will act as a agent of change, which will lead to large-scale attitudinal changes in the society. And these large-scale attitudinal changes, in turn, lead to solving of various gender issues that we face.
Because
When you talked of leadership role, women taking. So I look at your educational qualification. After BSc, MSc, you had gone for B.Ed.
Yes, sir.
So what was the reason for that? Were you not confident in science and further picking up something which would have helped you? Was it a plan B kind of a thing or what?
So firstly, my graduation completed in 2021. At that time, COVID lockdown was on. So the NET examination, which is required for pursuing PhD and higher education, was not taking place. And I wasn't even sure whether I want to pursue that or not. So as a backup plan, you have rightly pointed, I went for B.Ed, but simultaneously with time, I gradually got interested towards civil services, and then I took up attempting the UPSC examination.
So what was the prime motive of coming towards civil services?
The civil services is a career that provides immense opportunity, not only in terms of diversity, but also showing one's capabilities. Sir, it is the only service which provide you the first-hand opportunity to work for social cause, economic cause, and even other causes. So I think that is the main motto that it get me inclined towards the civil services.
One more thing, like when I look at your career preferences, you have not opted for Haryana
Yes, sir.
either
Yes,
for IAS or IPS. What is the reason? Haryana is considered to be one of the best
Yes, sir.
cadres, and probably nowadays it's in news.
Yes, sir. Sir, my first preference was Agmut cadre. Sir, the main reason for choosing it, the geographical diversity and also the social diversity that I will get to experience while being in Agmut cadre. I'll get to service throughout the country. So secondly, uh, not choosing Haryana cadre was not that I have dislike for my state, but rather the insider vacancies that are there in Haryana cadre are very less. So it was more of a pragmatic approach towards choosing the cadres.
Tell me a little about your city you live in, Rewari. What is the historical background and
Sir, I'll start with mythological tales. Sir, during Mahabharata, it is believed that the king Balram married a princess Reva, and in dowry, the village Reva was given to her, and which over the period came to be known as Reva Vadi, which later was changed to Rewadi. Sir, secondly, in 1857 revolt that took place. So, secondly, during the Mughal forces, the second battle of Panipat, Himu Vikramaditya, he fought against the Mughal forces and he had his one of the capital cities as Rewari. And a lot of cannon factories were established, and due to which we have a very good metal industry today working in the city. So, thirdly, will be with respect to the 1857 revolt. Rao Tularam, Rao Nehar Singh, they fought against the British forces and made significant contribution to the uprising. Sir, even in the independence struggle that we had in Azad and Fauj, a lot of soldiers were from then Punjab, which also included Haryana, and also a lot of freedom fighters like Chaudhry Chotu Ram and other I cannot remember, sir, as of moment, but there were a lot of freedom fighters.
it's called Veer Bhumi?
Hanji, sir?
It's called Veer Bhumi.
Hanji, sir. Yes, sir.
You said mythologically,
Yes, sir.
but as a part of your anthropology syllabus also,
Yes, sir.
you have studied about Professor B.V. Lal, the
Yes.
excavations going on. How can you say that mythologically, so bluntly, after being a student of anthropology?
Sir, anthropology do provides archaeological evidence with respect to Mahabharat period, but the tale which I was talking about has not been proven yet. So that's why I use the term.
Okay. So please continue.
You talked about teaching at one of the NGOs,
Yes, sir.
Love Prerna.
Yes, sir.
So, what it is?
Sir, it is a NGO that gives hopes to the students, specifically who cannot afford quality education. Sir, it teaches them, specifically secondary and primary school students, on Saturday, Sunday basis.
So, given an opportunity to work in any district where you have to empower special students,
Yes, sir.
especially able students, what changes would like to bring in?
So firstly would be with respect to infrastructure. Sir, accessibility has to be taken care of because the infrastructure need to be accessible to the specially able students. So secondly would be with respect to the teachers. They need a special kind of pedagogical skills to teach such students. So therefore that need to be inculcated. So thirdly would be with respect to play schools and other playful activities so that they do not feel isolated or secluded from the other students. So more and more integration can be done. Sir, apart from that, while teaching everyone, we should encourage sensitivity and empathy towards all. So the school environment becomes more and more inclusive and accepting. And hence we can empower each and every student despite of his or her special abilities.
Can I?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You just said specially able children or students. Define.
Sir, specially able students are those whose abilities are different from the other students. They may.
What kind of students are there whose abilities, even the toppers are the specially abled students because their abilities are different from the other children?
Yes, sir.
So how can you say specially abled students? What kind of children are you referring to while you are saying specially able students?
So there is a possibility that due to genetic or birth defects, certain organs of the particular student may not have developed properly, but it do not hinders his ability to progress. There may be certain skills that he may be good at with compared to other students. So by specially able student, I mean that they are specially able with respect to certain skills. For instance, if any student is visually challenged, then in that case, he will have a very good hearing capacity. So I think that is a special skill for him.
At the NGO that you have been working, were they working with specially abled students, or rather to say children with disability?
So there were no specially able students at the NGO.
So, I mean, just a suggestion, keep it narrow. Don't jump outside that purview. Okay, because disability is altogether a different domain.
Okay, sir.
I can stretch you like anything just on disability right from here. Okay, so just keep in mind.
Let's see how far have you gone. Okay. Now, coming to this convener of chemistry Curie Club.
Yes, sir.
Can you please elaborate? What was your role here?
Sir, I was the convener of the club. I had to arrange for meetings and also act as a bridge between the students and the faculty for organizing certain events.
Okay.
Sir, apart from that, to popularize the chemistry as a subject in the college, we used to organize workshops, seminars. So that was the main job role.
Okay. Talking about your masters, what was the topic for your thesis?
Sir, it was actually a humanities topic that I took for thesis.
Okay.
Sir, it was related to renaming of River Saraswati.
For chemistry, your master's in chemistry, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how were you able to justify the relevance to your course this?
Sir, actually in our colleges, we were given freedom to opt for thesis from any other subject if we are interested in.
Okay.
Masters can be only provided due to faculty restraints only in the 4 subjects because this college relatively opened in 2006. So mathematics, physics, chemistry and biology were the main subjects in which you can do masters. But minors were available for environmental science as well as humanities. So I got generally interested into humanities subject because many of my optional courses also inclined towards the humanities subject. And this was the reason for me opting for the thesis, sir, in humanities.
Can you please name the topic again?
Sir, it was related to renaming of River Saraswati.
Renaming of River Saraswati. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what is it called? You want to get it renamed? It got renamed. Can you tell me a little?
What was basically what
the gist
what
of your research?
Topic of your dissertation and the gist of it?
Sir, actually, the river that is currently renamed Saraswati was the Pelu Ghaggar channel that was running in the area. It is a seasonal stream.
Okay.
So there was a debate that was going on whether we should rename the river Saraswati or not at that time, specifically in 2018 to 2021. So it was related to that. And sir, I concluded that there was various archaeological evidences that prove that river Saraswati do flow from this region, and renaming it cannot be just a mere political stunt.
So you agreed that it was actually river Saraswati. About this, again the name of the club.
Yes, sir.
Curie Club.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me about this? Who's it named after?
Sir, it is named after first female Nobel laureate, Madame Curie. Sir, she is the only person in the chemistry discipline who have won simultaneously 2 Nobel Prize for different fields. One is for chemistry and one is for physics. In physics, she won for discovery of radioactivity, whereas in chemistry, she won for isolation of 2 radioactive elements, that is polonium and rubidium. I'm sorry, sir, I'm unable to recall the second name.
She's very ill famous for her discovery, which actually ended up in her death.
Yes, sir.
Can you please elaborate this?
Sir, she died due to a condition which was she died due to a condition which was due to radioactivity directly exposed to her body, due to which it became the reason of her death. But I think we should not say her that she was ill famous for that, but rather we should see her dedication towards the science. And despite risking her own life, she discovered the radioactivity, and which is today leading to discovery of various diseases like cancer. It is treated by radioactive cobalt, which is one of the main elements in chemotherapy. So I think she made a very good contribution.
Okay. Please, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Amisha,
Yes, sir.
So your B.Ed, you have done your B.Ed in, and your subjects were pedagogy of biological science and pedagogy of physical
Yes, sir.
science. Can you differentiate between biological science and physical science?
So biological science refers to the biology of flora and fauna.
Okay.
And so physical science, on the other hand, refers to those subjects which include some technical subjects as well,
Okay.
like chemistry, physics.
Okay. Great. So as you have studied B.Ed, can you tell me what is the difference between the learning outcomes and learning objectives?
So learning objectives are set by the teacher before starting a particular coursework. She sets certain objectives that she want to achieve while teaching the students, whereas learning outcomes is measured at the end of the course to check the quality of teaching that she
What is the
delivered.
difference at the conceptual level?
So learning objectives helps you set a goal and follow a particular path, while a learning objective, on the other hand, is a kind of
Learning
result.
Learning outcome is a kind of
Sorry,
result.
sir, learning outcome. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. What do you think is the difference between the pedagogy of, let us say, because you have taught as well, what is the difference between the pedagogy that is followed for the arts subject and the pedagogy that is followed for the science subjects?
The pedagogy for art subject will include checking the creativity of the student. And in science subject also we'll check the creativity, but at the same time it is more objective in nature. It is,
Okay, what is the difference between the two? Let us say you are talking about science subjects and you're talking about art subjects.
sir, art for class 6 to 8 student, I mean the sketching and that part of art.
Arts means arts-based subject,
Yes.
humanity-based subject.
Yes, okay, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, in that case, humanities-based subject is highly subjective. It is open to interpretations. Whereas in case of science subject, they are usually objective. However, there are some open-ended questions also, but largely they are objective and they are question-answer format questions where causal effect causal effect is phenomena is first, where we particularly check the effect. What is the cause behind that effect? That is being checked.
So what do you think should be the criteria in our country? That many of the places percentage is a criteria to choose the subjects after 10th class, right? Whether you want to go for sciences or you want to go for humanities or for commerce or whatsoever. And as you are saying, the nature of the subject, both of them are very different. So what should be the criteria of choosing the subjects after 10th class? Is the current criteria fine?
Sir, I think the prime criteria will base on the interest of the student and also his aptitude. Sir, I think these to be the basic criteria rather than imposing certain subjects on the student irrespective of his interest and general aptitude in the subject.
Okay. Have you studied NEP 2020, National
Yes, sir.
Education
Yes.
Policy? Analyze it from the lens of pedagogy.
Sir, pedagogically, it do provide certain insights.
Like,
So firstly would be with respect to multiple entry and exit point. It allows students to take up various courses and enter even interdepartmental courses like biochemistry or tissue engineering and new fields that are coming up. Sir, apart from that, it do not completely focus on the academic rigorous nature of the studies, but rather open up for vocational trainings. They provide a new opportunities for students. By this, student can learn about the general aptitude in a particular subject. Sir, I think these are very useful insights.
okay, talking about the biotechnology, right? You have your one of the internships was about tissue engineering or so. What do you think is the future of biotechnology in India?
Sir, it have multi-pronged future. So firstly would be with respect to discovery of drugs and vaccines.
Okay.
We are witnessing various diseases and epidemics that are opening up in different parts of the country and even in the globe. So secondly would be with respect to development of uh, crops that are more nutritionally advanced so that we can tackle the malnutrition. For instance, fortified rice, which was vitamin A and iron enriched. So thirdly would be with respect to treating genetic defects by genetic disorders. So we can work upon that as well. Sir, apart from that, biotechnology can also be used in material science for designing certain compounds.
Achha, Amisha, I mean, you're saying a lot, but I'm somehow feeling this answer to be pretty theoretical. Can you just support it with one or two case studies or recent developments in biotechnology in India?
So one is Ceravac vaccine, which is treating cervical cancer in females, which is one of the leading cancer among the females. So secondly would be with respect to development of vegetarian meat that is being popularized. Biotechnology do plays an important role in development of it. So thirdly would be with respect to design of materials for stealth technology that is being used in fighter jets. Biotechnology can also provide insights into that by creating certain specific type of paints that can be used in stealth technology.
You were telling about the Ghagra Saraswati conflict.
Hanji, sir.
Can you name the site which is peculiar with respect to IBC in Haryana and how old it is?
Sir, Rakhi Gadi is one of the sites.
Oldest.
Sir, I need to read more about it before answering this one.
Heard about Virana?
Yes, sir.
That is 9,000 years old.
Yes, sir.
And should it be called Indus Valley Civilization or Indus Saraswati Civilization or Saraswati Civilization?
Sir, as per my opinion, it should be called Indo-Saraswatic civilization. Sir, because the sites were aggregated all along the Indus River as well as Saraswati River. So it shows that one river cannot be a center of civilization, but rather the entire area was a center of civilization, which
But
includes.
now you have evidences from Kiradi in Tamil Nadu.
Hanji, sir.
So you cannot relate only to Indus Saraswati.
Yes, sir.
So that can be Indo, not Indus.
Hanji,
Indo
sir.
Saraswati would have been much better to explain.
Yes, sir.
And more than 2/3 sites excavated are now in this part of them
Southern
in Pakistan.
Yes, sir.
Then you didn't mention any NGOs which are working. You did work with NGOs, but Haryana is not very popular with respect to NGOs. People
Yes.
don't work, don't prefer working in NGOs. They don't like NGOs rather.
No, sir, that would be a too far-fetched statement. People do like NGOs and they also work.
Name 2 or 3 NGOs at national level that have a name.
Sir, I'll look into it and then I can tell.
Then how do you relate?
Sir, SPICMEC is an NGO that is working in southern.
That is all India, rather world level. You cannot. I'm talking about the NGO from Haryana. Name some denotified tribes of Haryana.
Sir, Haryana do not have any tribes.
Denotified, I'm saying, not tribes.
Sir, I'm not aware of that.
Have
I'll
you
read
heard
about
about Gadia Lohar?
Sir, please pardon.
Gadia Lohar?
Gadia Lohar.
Sir, I may have heard, but it's not clicking my mind.
There is a Kanpati Mar tribe also is there.
Okay, sir.
British times they were called criminal tribes. After independence, we changed them to ex-criminal tribes, but then we changed them to denotified. They are not included in the tribal category yet.
Okay, sir.
And denotified debate is going on, and maybe by the time your interview is there, they may ask you about it.
Okay, sir. I'll read about it.
You have any you won the best speaker on topic drug addiction.
Yes, sir.
You have any personal experience with someone who was using drugs, because it's very popular, particularly in that region where doing your master's and graduation?
Sir, I didn't have personal experience, but one of the students was unfortunately got addicted to the substance abuse. So I have witnessed that in college, but I was not personally connected with the case. So I've seen his development.
Are you? Can you try and think of a reason why this drug problem is becoming so prevalent, particularly in the Punjab region?
Sir, there are various reasons. Sir, firstly would be with respect to geographical location of Punjab.
Uh-huh.
Sir, it is a border state, and drone have been a major source of input for the drugs in Punjab and even underground tunnels.
Uh-huh.
Sir, secondly would be with respect to insider trading. Raw opium comes from Rajasthan, and even Himachal, charas comes from Himachal also. Sir, so Punjab is not only a market, but rather a transshipment point. Sir, secondly would be with respect to the access of the drugs that have been increased, specifically with a strong network of drug peddlers. Sir, thirdly would be with respect to the pop culture that is present in Punjab, that also somehow where songs promote substance abuse in different formats.
Okay.
These could be reasons.
Okay. Questions in our class. Um, from anthropological point of view, the role of NGO and what you actually witnessed, how different or similar were they? You study the role of NGOs
Yes.
in your paper too,
Yes, sir.
and you have worked as a part of NGO as well.
Yes, sir.
What is the difference between the theoretical, what you read, and what actually is happening on the ground? Or they are same, one and the same thing?
The difference is there. Sir, in theory, we do read about the capacity development the NGOs do. But in practice, it is not implemented in a better way. There is a lot of scope of improvisation in that. So secondly would be with respect to aid of the NGOs that they get. Sir, get adequate funding due to which they lack infrastructural support. Specifically about my NGO, I can talk about. It worked in imparting education, but it lacked use of ICT tools. Not only ICT tools, but even basic infrastructure like benches. So we used to borrow it from nearby private schools to run our classes. So, sir, this was the difference. Sir, apart from that, the students, the access that we have to students, that is also not uniform. But we cannot say that it was different from academy, but rather we need to improvise on practical basis to increase our outreach to the area that we are targeting.
What do you think will be the impact of very recently government of US have taken the action of USA, yeah, of banning US aid also?
Sir, on India or globally?
Okay, let us say on India only.
Sir, we receive around 40 million of aid from USA. And as such, we would not be getting that much impacted. It was majorly working on human development, socio-economic issues. But we have even other partners who aid it and even work with us, like World Bank in Japan. Sir, I think it would not be a major cause of concern for India, but rather it serves as an opportunity to check where US was working, and now we can allocate those funds ourselves to those areas and work even in a better way.
Do we have funds?
So we can engage corporate social responsibilities towards that act.
What do you think is happening, because you are coming from social work area also, you have worked there? Many of the NGOs have got banned in very recent times, including Greenpeace, which was a very humongous NGO working in India.
Yes,
what has been the impact on that, and what should be the policy regarding the challenges that we have been facing on that part?
So the NGO you are talking about got banned due to
I'm not talking about that particular NGO, but in the recent past, many NGOs have got banned by the government only.
Yes,
I mean, what impact is it having, and what should be the policy of government as per you?
Sir, the major reason the majority of NGOs got banned was because they were directly or indirectly associated with anti-Indian activities.
Okay.
Sir, apart from that, they were also becoming a source of black money and illegally doing things like organized crimes. So the major impact that banning of these NGOs will have with respect to improvised security, internal security, sir. Sir, apart from that, there were some NGOs who may be working even for a particular cause. So that particular area may get vulnerable to a particular issue that they were facing.
As per the current government policy,
yes,
it has a very huge impact on the FCRA funding.
Sir, which funding?
FCRA funding that comes from the
okay.
foreign land also.
Okay,
so that is impacting the NGOs a lot currently in functioning. Okay, so whenever, I mean, read a little about it later on, because you are from NGO sector. I have two questions after that. I mean, you may continue. One is like, we know about the gender gap in education in Haryana,
yes, sir.
Right? So, what do you think should be the measures that we take to mend that gender gap? I mean, it's almost 20% of gender gap that is there between the males and females, right? So what should be the, let us say that you are the education officer, or I mean, someone who is heading the education department or so. What kind of policy should we have to mend this gender gap, especially in education?
So firstly would be with respect to awareness, because that will promote attitudinal changes in the generations. So secondly would be with respect to increasing primary enrollment in the schools.
Okay.
Sir, apart from that, we should also focus on
awareness. How?
Sir, the traditional methods can be used. Sir, apart from that, we can use the Anganwadi network that we have. That is very strong in Haryana, where they can act as an agent of change by visiting house by house and influencing the people to take up gender equality. Sir, that can.
Isn't it already happening?
Because it is happening, but more needs to be done in a more formal way, because Anganwadi centers themselves are not capable enough to do this. So
You are coming from a creative background. You have really creative hobbies or so. Can you share it, one out of the box thing that you can do that the government is not doing right now, just to narrow down this gender gap?
Sir, it would be in Haryana. Self-help groups are not that much popular, specifically in rural areas for women. So we can engage women with in rural areas to take up in creative activities or vocational courses in self-help groups and engage in formal economic activities. And when they will engage in this, they will definitely invest it in their children's education, including the female child.
Okay, so my last question to you will be very cliched one.
Okay.
So what are the major problems those are being faced in Rewari right now?
So there are various problems.
Top three.
The multimodal connectivity is an issue. We do not have last mile connectivity in the Rewari.
Okay.
So secondly, we are also in NCR region, so we face the issue of air pollution as well as water pollution also. So thirdly would be with respect to women's, we can, despite having a high literacy rate for women in Rewari district, labor force participation rate of women is very less. If we work upon the first issue, that is providing end mile connectivity by multimodal transport, this can be solved, I think.
Okay. So you said about water, and very recently there have been news about the groundwater depletion in that area, right? Somewhat about 136% or so it has, gone down there. So let us say that you are the district magistrate of that area.
Yes,
Okay, and there have been multiple about cases about the groundwater pollution as well, right? So what kind of actions can you take regarding this particular challenge that the area is facing? Groundwater depletion and groundwater pollution.
The groundwater pollution is linked to groundwater depletion. If we tackle the groundwater depletion, we can significantly counter the groundwater pollution as well. So for countering groundwater depletion, the major groundwater is depleted for agricultural purpose. So firstly, we need to diversify our crops. We need to shift towards pulses and even other millet-based crops which have low water demand. So secondly would be with respect to the rainwater harvesting. That is very poor, which is leading to urban flooding during monsoons. So we could use traditional methods like ponds, where rainwater harvesting can be done, and even in urban setups where each house can be motivated, like it is done in Tamil Nadu, and we can do rainwater harvesting, which will significantly increase the groundwater table levels. So thirdly, with respect to with respect to landfill sites, sir, seepage of chemicals from these landfill sites are a major cause of pollution for the underground water table. So we can concretize the area where these landfills are being created. Apart from that, waste disposal awareness can be done within the citizen itself, where segregation of waste is done at the site and proper waste disposal is done.
Can you share just part of this question only? Can you share any local name that is there for the local water bodies also in Haryana?
Sir, sir, I cannot recall the exact name, but I will read about it. Yes, sir.
Done. But
Yes, sir. बाकी
यहाँ किस बैच पे थे तुम?
सर 2021 ऑनलाइन बैच था.
और के बाद रिपीट?
नहीं सर, रिपीट मैंने मतलब सर रिपीटेड क्लासेस देखी थी, बट एज सच फॉर्मली बैच ज्वाइन नहीं किया था कोई.
मतलब we revised our content from April 23 onwards.
हाँ जी
उसके
सर.
बाद की कोई क्लासेस देखी थी?
हाँ जी सर, मैंने आप व्हाट्सएप पे भी शेयर करते थे सारा रिपीटेड कंटेंट, तो वहां से अपने सारे नोट्स अपडेट किए हैं.
और तुम्हारा आईसर से है ना,
हाँ जी
ग्रेजुएशन एंड मास्टर्स?
हाँ जी सर.
तो टेक्निकल क्वेश्चंस
सर कुछ पूछा नहीं उन्होंने, कुछ खास
कुछ भी नहीं पूछा?
नहीं सर, केमिस्ट्री से कुछ टेक्निकल क्वेश्चन अभी आया नहीं है.
आज पूछ लिया करें सर?
हाँ,
थैंक यू सर.
डबल मॉक हो गया मेरी तरफ से, तो आधे में ही इंटरव्यू फिनिश हो गया था. द रेस्ट इज रिपीटिशन. You have a lot of energy, but they say you are speaking very fast. From my side, I'll say that it is the energy that is coming.
That's your strength.
Continue with that. वो मुझे नहीं लगता उसमें होगा. कहीं कहीं जहाँ फंबल कर जाती हो वहाँ थोड़ा सा प्रैक्टिस कर लो
बिल्कुल सर.
क्वेश्चंस का. लेकिन ओवरऑल आई थिंक इट इज डेफिनेटली अबव एवरेज एट दिस जंक्चर. एंड तुम्हारा एक महीना पढ़ा है तो एक महीने में तो बहुत कुछ हो सकता है. ठीक है. अब हर सवाल के लिए जहाँ स्पेसिफिकली चाहिए वो देख लो. बट विद रिस्पेक्ट टू योर हेल्थ एंड एजुकेशन इशूज, ये किताब लेते हुए जाना नीचे से, ये तुम्हारे बहुत सारी एनजीओ के इश्यूज को भी रिलेट कर देगी, और हरियाणा के वाटर डिप्लीशन पे भी कुछ रिलेट कर देगी, काफी कुछ जो है वो सारे इनको कर देगी। बट मुझे नहीं लगता कि तुम्हें डरने की जरूरत है।
ठीक है सर।
थोड़ा सा फोकस सब पे रखो, जिसका आप जवाब दे रहे हो उसी पे आई कांटेक्ट रह रहा है, वो थोड़ा सा गड़बड़ है। बाकी तो आई ऑल्सो अप्रिशिएट इट, स्ट्रॉन्ग पॉइंट लिया अपना कि माइथोलॉजी है तो है, केडर यू जस्टिफाइड वेरी वेल, ठीक है। इवन जहाँ थोड़ा सा वो अबाउट द नो क्या था, ईमानदारी किसकी ज्यादा है, हु विल बी मोर यू जॉली वे यू, तो वो सब दैट वाज ऑल गुड। बस वही है कि एक थोड़ा आई कांटेक्ट बेटर रहे सबके साथ, एंड एक दो जगह फैक्चुअल गलतियां थी दैट यू कैन इजीली कवर अप।
आई थिंक आपकी स्ट्रेंथ है ये, और इसको मेंटेन रखने के लिए मुझे भी लगता है कि बहुत ज्यादा आपको मॉक टेस्ट नहीं देने चाहिए, शुड रिफ्रेन फ्रॉम दैट, एंड अदरवाइज आपका कॉन्फिडेंस कहीं नहीं जाएगा चीजों, बिकॉज काइंड ऑफ फीडबैक्स यू विल गेट एंड दीस विल बी डाइवर्स, probably you are not on target, and कहीं भी
Was it I was too loud to you? मतलब ऐसा तो नहीं लग रहा था कि मैं बहुत ज्यादा एग्रेसिव टाइप
it shows your confidence and clarity in mind. Whatever you're expressing, you are very clear in mind, and उस चीज को substantiate कर रहे हो आप, like जैसे अमिश पूछा, तो उनके साथ में आपने हर चीज को कहीं ना कहीं आपने उस चीज को सपोर्ट किया कि स्टडी या किसी भी चीज के साथ में, तो दैट्स गुड। आई थिंक
एक जो है इंटरव्यू फेस करने की एंजाइटी भी होती है, जिससे वॉल्यूम बढ़ जाता है, जब अपने सर का वॉल्यूम जिसके साथ, तो यू मोल्ड इट डाउन, हालांकि थोड़ा है, बट
थोड़ा सा ना वॉल्यूम के लिए जस्ट डू दिस थिंग, रीड द रूम, louder the room, louder should be the volume. This is a smaller room, so you can have a little mellow down volume. Okay, second thing is, whenever anyone is asking you about introduction, prepare some core characteristics that you have. Your values should come into your introduction. I am a creative person. Okay, so from there you can drive your interview. वो बंदा पकड़ेगा सामने से उसे, क्योंकि तुमने बोला है, ठीक है। So this is a very great trick to introduce yourself. Whenever you are doing it, you need to give some loopholes then and then. ये देखो, मैं कह रही हूँ कि मैं बहुत ही इंटीग्रिटी रखती हूँ, आई एम अ वेरी कंपैशनेट पर्सन। ओके, वहीं से वो पकड़ेगा, अच्छा ठीक है, कैन यू गिव मी वन एग्जांपल ऑफ कंपैशनेट यू हैव बीन इन योर लाइफ और व्हाटसोएवर, राइट? सो फ्रॉम देयर यू विल ट्राई कि ठीक है, मैंने एनजीओ में किया, मैंने ये किया, मैंने वो किया, ब्राउनी पॉइंट्स वहां से आने लग गए आपके, ठीक है। सेकेंड थिंग इज, डोंट गिव स्टेटमेंट्स कि लड़कियां होंगी तो वो कम करप्ट होंगी, ठीक है। इफ यू आर गिविंग, then back it up from research and statistics. Like we have seen in the last this 15 years, in this particular part, the corruption has gone down. So on the basis of that, ठीक है, don't give holistic statements. ठीक है, उसके लिए आपको प्रधानमंत्री होना पड़ेगा। कई जगह ना, कुछ जगह सवालों को सुनो अच्छे से, लाइक वो जो डायबिटीज वाला सवाल था, दैट वाज अबाउट द पैरामीटर, not about why is it happening in the local people. So the parameter was revised again and again, and this is a big what do you say, strategy from the pharma companies side that they have been doing that. I mean, with respect to sugar, पहले 140 वाले को शुगर होता था, अब 100 वाले को शुगर हो जाता है, तो ऑटोमेटिकली लोग बढ़ गए ना।
ऐसा है, 1990s में 140 was the cutoff, and there were hardly 5 crore people in the world that were diabetic. 2000 के तुरंत बाद जो है, they made it 120, करीब 10 करोड़ लोग और हो गए। Then they have now 110 लाए, अब 100 प्लस पे ले आते हैं, और आधा 40% people in the world, they either they are diabetic or they are prone to diabetes.
Just because of change of parameter. Like ये काफी जगह आपने ज्योग्राफी में पढ़ा होगा, ग्रीन कवर जो है वो चेंज होता है, डेफिनेशन चेंज कर दो, ग्रीन कवर चेंज हो गया। So this is like that only. It is a kind of corruption.
Drugs and pharmaceutical industry है ना, they are controlling our health.
ठीक है। नेक्स्ट थिंग इज, तुम मुस्कुरा रही हो, मगर तब मुस्कुरा रही हो जब तुम्हारी कमजोरी आ जा रही है, ठीक है। सो बीच बीच में मुस्कुराओ, ठीक है, बिकॉज दैट इज अ रिफ्लेक्शन not only of your confidence but also about your compassion and how इंटरकनेक्टेड पीपल, ठीक है। एनईपी एक बार पढ़ लो अच्छे से,
ठीक है सर।
ठीक है।
बहुत जरूरी है।
पेडागोजी के लेंस
अच्छा।
से पढ़ लो।
क्लियरली खाका ने कहा है कि एनईपी का कोई रोल नहीं है ट्राइबल्स के लिए।
ठीक है।
ज्यादा बहस करने की जरूरत ही नहीं, खाका का नाम ले दो कि ट्राइबल के लिए इससे जीरो।
सो एनईपी को एक बार पढ़ लो अच्छे से, ठीक है। और वहां पर स्ट्रक्चरिंग की कमी थी, ठीक है, कि वहां पर क्या कुछ है। दोस पर्टिकुलर क्लीशे वर्ड्स दोस शुड शो दैट यू हैव डन बीएड,
ठीक है सर।
ठीक है ना। कि जैसे कि आप वो इंटर्नशिप्स और बाकी सारी चीजें लेके आए हैं, ठीक है। एंड आई कुड हैव पुल्ड यू देयर फॉर गुड अमाउंट। पेडागोजी की बात कर रहे हो, स्ट्रक्चर की बात कर रहे हो, मेथोडोलॉजी की बात कर रहे हो, किस चीज की बात कर रहे हो? बी क्लियर अबाउट इट इन योर माइंड, ठीक है। तो इसलिए एनईपी को जो है वो 2-3 लेंसेज से पढ़ लो एक बार अच्छे से, क्योंकि आपने बीएड भी किया है और आपका इंटर्नशिप भी जो है वो सोशल वर्क में है, और उससे सो you'll be able to connect both of the things। और जिस चीज के बारे में मालूम नहीं उसको मत लेके आओ, स्पेशली एबल्ड चिल्ड्रन, ठीक है। द राइट वर्ड इज ऑलवेज पर्सन चिल्ड्रन विद डिसेबिलिटी। The Divyang word was also rejected by the people with disabilities because there is nothing Divya about being a person with disability. It is just about excluding it, saying कि मेरे क्या 8 हाथ निकल आए हैं क्या, मैं भगवान विष्णु तो नहीं हो गया कि मैं दिव्यांग हो गया, right? There is nothing like that. So just use children with disability, person with disability, not ये visually challenged, visually impaired, ठीक है, mentally, psychologically, intellectually impaired. So there are some politically correct words which are generally used. So if you want to use this type of word, you should be have clarity about it, else एक negative perception बन जाएगा।
ठीक है सर।
ठीक है, सबसे बेटर है जो नहीं पता उसको मत लेके आओ, ठीक है। तो
मेरी तरफ से तो हो गई हो। देखो ऐसा है, ये वाले कॉन्फिडेंस बना के रखो। नहीं आता तो सॉरी सर आई डोंट। 3 चीजें होती हैं, मैं बताऊं। एक सेंटेंस होता है सॉरी सर आई डोंट नो, यू कैन टेल 50 टाइम्स, पर कहना कॉन्फिडेंटली। अगर 10 बार सॉरी सर बोलोगे ना तो अपने आप तुमसे पूछेंगे तुम बताओ किस टॉपिक पे।
ठीक है सर।
दूसरी बात क्या है कि वहां का माहौल ऐसा होता है कि आधी चीजें तो वैसे ही भूल जाती है, एक आध चीज और भूल गई तो क्या फर्क पड़ता है। सॉरी सर आई एम नॉट एबल टू रिकलेक्ट, एक आध बार 2 बार ज्यादा। तीसरी बात, जो क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हैं वो तुम्हें आता है तो उससे आगे का नहीं पता। सर इन दिस रेस्पेक्ट माय नॉलेज इज लिमिटेड बट दिस इज दिस, एक बार होना चाहिए, है ना। सॉरी सर आई डोंट नो 10 बार हो जाए, सॉरी सर आई एम नॉट एबल टू रिकलेक्ट 2-3 बार हो जाए।
अच्छा एक चीज और, स्ट्रैटेजी बेस्ड का सवाल कहीं भी अगर आता है, ठीक है, सो स्ट्रैटेजी का एक फ्रेमवर्क होता है। सबसे पहले आप डेटा कलेक्शन करेंगे, रिसर्च होगा, बिकॉज यू हैव मतलब यू हैव कमिंग फ्रॉम इंस्टीट्यूट दैट हैड रिसर्च इन नेम, राइट। सबसे पहले रिसर्च होगा, देन एनालिसिस ऑफ दैट डेटा होगा, ठीक है, देन आपका प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट आएगा, ठीक है। तो इस चीज का ध्यान रखो इन स्टेप्स का। लाइक आई आस्क्ड यू अबाउट कि भाई उसके रीजंस क्या कुछ हैं, so something that has to be done by you also, not going by the perception only, ठीक है, that is a good source, but you got to do some ground research after going on the field कि क्या reasons हैं उसके, फिर then defining one problem statement, ठीक है, then focusing on a particular source of problem। 4 चीजें एक साथ नहीं कर पाओगे, एक चीज सोच लिया, there could be water mafia also in your area that you might not be knowing right now, right? So but तुमने शुरू से कहना शुरू कर दिया as if you already know the problem, ठीक है। So just keep this in mind, the problem define हो गई, then there are 2 ways of solutions। First one is research about the solutions which are already existing in the world with respect to that particular problem, and second is going out of the box and going local।
एक जो बात की थी उन्होंने ड्रग प्रॉब्लम्स के बारे में, देयर इज वन बिग रीजन कि पैसा बहुत है, काम नहीं है। दैट इज वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट रीजंस।
रेवाड़ी में एडिशनल डेवलपमेंट कमिश्नर अपॉइंट हुई 91 में। फोन किया सर क्या कर रहे हो, मैं कुछ करते ही नहीं, मैं तो जो करना है वो कर रहा हूँ। नहीं ऐसा है कि मेरे पास 6 करोड़ रुपया रखा, वो आप ले लो, वो आप हरियाणा के डेवलपमेंट को। मैं कहता मेरे को बिल्कुल समझती है, किसी भी गांव में जाओगे ना सरपंच कहेगा सर जी पैसा हमें दे दो, डेवलपमेंट हम कर लेंगे, आप जाओ। ये एटीट्यूड है इसलिए एनजीओ सक्सेसफुल नहीं होता।